roots parties, Professor George Wajackoyah. Let's continue with our discussion. Prof, there is an emerging group of opposition leaders, Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua. You are conspicuously missing. Do you disagree with them?
I don't disagree with what they are doing, but I'm a person non-grantor in that group, because from my experiences when we were in Azimio, apart from probably Raila and Kalonzo, most of them looked at me as a non-starter. They looked down upon me, and I can see the same group is grouping, but that is personal. But as far as I'm concerned, what I want to see them do is to talk about issues affecting the country. Issues affecting the country. What I mean by issues is, if you look at all of them, some have been in deputy president, ministers, members of parliament, the Senate, and you look at the whole platoon. They have come up with just one agenda, Ruto.
But that's what they say is the most important agenda to them, Prof.
But what have they done when they were in power? I think when I was working in the system before, I would like, and I pray, I would like that each and every individual comes out and tells Kenyans what they did while they were in the position and what they intend to do when they get into position. Then maybe I'll be satisfied and get in. But I'm so disappointed with the characters, with the type of politics that they're playing, which is no different from Ruto's politics. They're just taking another front, but if they get into power, then how would you expect a young man who was born recently to group himself as a cousin? How would you expect somebody who does not believe in tribalism to be asked, oh, you have come on the table, you are a Kisi, go and bring this number of Kisis on table. You are a Kikuyu, go and bring this number of... Are we still going back to reinvent the wheel, going into reverse psychology? Instead of looking at Kenya in 50 years to come, where will we be? And then we compare with countries like Singapore and South Korea as far as economic development is concerned, with even Burkina Faso, which was just born yesterday, which is economic oriented. We are in tribal cocoons. This time Wakikuyu wanaishi, Wakalenjin wanaishi. I am not going to be part of that crusade. That's why I'm just praying that if they don't break up very soon, start fighting each other, some of them being bought, I'm going to face all of them and I'll defeat them. Okay,
Prof. Is that to suppose then that you are not convinced with the calls for a consolidated opposition?
What I said is, if they come up with one commonality and choose one leader, I'll be saying thank you very much. But the kind of utterances they are making is what is making me sit back and say, what? I was in the US a week ago, and I saw, to my disbelief, one of those leaders equating other elected leaders as dogs. Between Ruto and the dog, which one is better? Can we stoop that low? Really?
So you're not convinced with the rhetoric of that?
No. But if they change, Kalonzo Musyoka is okay, I have no problem. Because Kalonzo is much more reasonable. And Kalonzo, if you look at his body language, he's there, he's not there. He doesn't like other people being abused. That's what I read in his mind. And I even called him and I congratulated him on that part. Please don't use that rhetoric of abusing other leaders. Even if they are bad, there are ways of doing things. If Kasongo is bad, yes, I don't like him.
To be fair, Prof, some will accuse you equally of abusing others in political rallies.
Well, there are some kind of talks, which even Raila talks that way. Even Ruto was calling me Muti Abangi in Turkana the other day. That was not abusing me. That was just like, but when you go and stoop so low and equate an elected leader to a dog, we disagree.
Fair enough. It's a season seemingly of political cousins of whose cousin. Who is Wajackoyah's political cousin?
That's nonsense.
Is it?
It's a total, how can I term it? Which physiology can I use? That's the most backward thing I've ever heard from a leader. You people, you are our cousins, you should vote. Come on, who are you telling? Gen Zs don't want to listen to that kind of language. They want to find out how or when they're going to be employed when they finish the university. They want to see development, infrastructure, and they do not want to see corruption. But if you are coming to tell me that now, wewe, na mimi, wewe ni cousin, I am not going to agree with that. Because I also have a group of followers who do not want to align themselves to anybody, but who believe in what I believe in. And part of what I believe in is economic emancipation, complete freedoms, if that can work. Of course, it's not easy to work. And also independence of the mind to allow people to speak in a way that other reasonable people will take it as reasonable. But now if you want now to frame people and then come out with so and so, we know Ruto is bad.
But Prof, contextually, that statement was made in an effort to vote hunt, isn't it?
That is okay. But then was it the right time? Why can't you go and talk to people in the open? My cousins, the majority of my cousins are in Uganda. Now, if I was to go that way, does it mean that I'm now trying to open up a room for tribalism? Wewe ni ndugu yangu, wewe ni Mkikuyu, wewe ni Mjaluo, mama yangu ameoa dada yako kuja pandei. That kind of rhetoric should be, let them speak because of freedom of expression, but people should not take those.
And if the proponent of that ideology, rather, or term of political cousins is to invite you, Prof, as one of his political cousins, would you accept?
Well, if he invites me as a Kenyan, I will go and have a cup of tea with him. If Ruto invited me today, I will not have a cup of tea, but I will speak to him because I don't know what will be in that cup of tea.
Prof, it's 1,000 rather days since President William Ruto was sworn into office as Kenya's 5th president. How would you sum up the president's 1,000 rather days in office?
He has totally failed this country. He should be honorable enough, resign, and pave way for others to take over. Yes.
Let's talk of your ambition, Prof. You are a candidate in the 2022 polls. You off-air told me you are considering vying again as president come 2027. You are convinced this time that you will win the presidency?
Yes.
And that conviction comes from where, Prof?
From what I know that I cannot disclose.
Predictably votes?
I will win the presidency in this country. Let me campaign the way I'm doing. I'm going to win. Because I can see that most Kenyans want change and they need total change. And I'm that change. Because one, I don't have a history of corruption. My language has been very clear. I speak openly. I've stayed in other parts of the world and seen the way things are done. I would like to ask Kenyans to judge me by seeing me as a person, seeing what I did without even a penny in the last elections, and let them vote for change. But one thing I have to caution Kenyans is that I will be a benevolent dictator. So if they want to elect a dictator who will make things right, yes, I will be.
And where will you draw the line of being a benevolent dictator and a brutal dictator?
Well, there is brutal dictatorship. That's what we are seeing right now, where people are being arrested and thrown in jail. Not arrested, abducted, contrary to the laws that we made, contrary to the preamble that we have in the Constitution. But I will talk, and we shall talk with other Kenyans to talk the economic way and freedoms to accompany the economic way. Look at what is happening in Burkina Faso. People in Burkina Faso are loving their president because of what he's doing. But I also check on the West. All the problems we have here, unless we speak, look at the foreign troops in this country, even though I didn't want to go that direction. What are the British forces doing in this country? What are the American forces doing in this country? I will ask them to leave.
Prof, a number of times in this interview you have referenced Burkina Faso. That was a military coup, a young man who came to power through a military coup. What lessons are you learning from Burkina Faso?
We are learning integrity, we are learning honesty, and we are learning the togetherness and the spirit that this young man has inserted in the people of Burkina Faso, which has also spread across the Sahel nations, telling of the West that it's time for them to pack and go. Because if anyone came here to tell you that he wants to run for president, ask them about why do we have foreign troops in this country, and why do we have foreign companies coming here to manage our resources. That's one thing people are very scared of speaking, but I will tell the Americans and the British that, you know what, we can stand on our own, and please give us time, give us a break. Prof,
finally, because of the interest of time, in the 2022 polls, one of your agenda, rather what you were branded, was the legalization of marijuana. I was looking at numbers. The Kansas City Federal Reserve study on cannabis legalization found that post-legalization, the average state income grew by 3%, house prices by 6%, and funny enough, population by 2%. Do you still want to legalize marijuana, Prof?
Yes. If at all you had legalized hemp, had I become the president, let me start it that way. Right now, we would have paid off our debts. Because hemp is the new economic world order today. If you go to Canadian Stock Exchange today, you go to New York Stock Exchange, and the Toronto Stock Exchange, you'll find out that 50 kg of hemp is $302 million. Now, if we could have taken Galana, and I'm told that Galana is now gone, and grown a prototype kind of project, right now would have paid off the Chinese, would have paid off all these debts, and Kenyans would be rich. Because hemp comes in so many ways. So the plain manufacturing today, they are manufacturing some plain parts from fiber, which comes from hemp. There is a medicinal value of it, and there is hemp construction. Taiwan now has banned cement construction or stone construction, and now they are building roads, bitumen roads. India is building roads made out of fiber. The drones that were sent by in Russia the other day to devastate what the Kremlin walls, they were actually made out of hemp, fiber from hemp. So I don't see the big fuss of people saying that, oh, what to smoke. No. It was not the smoking aspect, part of it that I was talking about. It was the commercial value, part of it.
And you're adamant that should Kenyans elect you in 2027, you will legalize marijuana?
Yes. In fact, we are really delaying. Zimbabwe has legalized, South Africa has legalized, Uganda has legalized, Rwanda has legalized, DRC is legalizing. It's only us who have this myopic of staying into some faith-based groups that think that if you grow this watoto wetu wataharibika. Saizi na tena watoto wa matajiri ndio wanaharibika. Yeah, so mine is for economic
and industrial use.
And industrial use, yes.
Okay, Prof, thank you for your time tonight on TV47.
Thank you.
And you're always welcome to this program and the many programs as we educate, entertain our audiences on Kenya's latest political happenings. Let's get to the world of business now.